So welcome everybody, and we are discussing what we want out of our ShYft community. And I'm also going to be doing a bit of a tour of the server. So anyone can ask for this recording to be paused at any time if they want to speak privately. So I've received at least a couple of inputs from people who can't make the call around things that they would like to see happening, which is already so inspiring, because there's ideas that I've wondered if it would be a good idea, and there's ideas I never even thought of. I can see that this is going to be an amazing co-creation with people coming up with more and more ways that we can actually get value out of this server. So first of all, before we go and do a bit of a tour, I want to just check in if anybody here has got something that they'd like to bring in terms of, can it do this? Please, can it do that? Anything like that that you want to bring. And then I'll go and show you around a little bit, so you get a bit of an idea of what's possible and what's already sort of been started. And then we can talk again about how to take it further. So yeah, Sylvie.
Hi, everybody. Two things that I was thinking about might be helpful for the community. One is to have a space that is dedicated to French speakers, and I can support there, given that I'm a native French speaker. So I'm happy to help with that, like pull together some resources and help support the conversations in French. And then the other thing, and maybe that's been mentioned already, but I was hoping to have a space that is neuro-affirming for like neurodiverse families, where we can discuss, ways that we accommodate depending on our children's neurodiversity.
Great. Totally doable. I think maybe we can just discuss in more detail, just you and me, exactly how we want that to be structured at the beginning. And then as your participants come in, we can sculpt it to fit the needs of the people who join. Awesome. Sounds good. Yeah, that's what's got me so excited about this, is that it's so very, very sculptable. And it's not limited. We've got so much space to move and experiment and maneuver. Shauna.
Thank you. I really like the idea of having other groups that speak other languages, and I wondered if the tool had a translation mechanism so that, for example, I could benefit from the French conversations or the German conversations or whatever else there might be. So I don't know if that's Spanish, whatever. I don't know if that's too advanced, but I mean, my French is a little. but I have no, Afrikaans or German or any other language. So that's a thought.
Okay, I don't know. I can look it up.
Or I could use Google Translate. That's fine.
Yeah. I'm seeing some stuff that implies that there might actually be a Discord translation bot that you can get. In fact, yeah, I'm seeing quite a lot suggesting that there is the opportunity to integrate Translate into Discord. So this will also depend on how our community goes, because Discord has, what's amazing me with Discord is that the free level is so powerful. Some of these things you have to upgrade into paid levels, but that's also one of the reasons why for new people coming in, I'm going to sort of pitch it as a paid community, although as all of you know, you can bypass that if you need to always. But yeah, so that we can actually also, just at the belonging to the community level, we've got a certain income coming in that we can just plow into upgrading and improving and expanding the server and what it can do. Shauna?
I'm sorry, another question I would ask is, as this is evolving, I've started with the classes and I love what this community brings, and I've never stopped to try to make a, one sentence elevator pitch of what it is. What is it that that's your elevator pitch of what the ShYft community is? I'd love to hear it.
Oh my gosh, I should create that, shouldn't I? I mean, that should be blunking obvious, especially to somebody who likes doing screenwriting for fun. Elevator pitch. Okay, so this is going to be a space, a virtual space that you can come into and meet other people who are involved in SDE or who are exploring or questioning SDE. And then you can choose how deep and wide you want to go with that. So you could, for example, this is not an elevator pitch at all. Sorry, I'm already way past the length of the elevator pitch.
That's okay. I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes as you talk, and then maybe I can help boil it down because I'm
maybe it'll also help when I show you around. It'll give you a bit of a clearer picture, right? But it essentially means that you can choose what level you want to stay on. You could stay on a fairly shallow level where you're just kind of using it as a list of like, what are the great movies and books and articles and stuff that you could be reading to find out about SDE. You could get into forum discussions on these topics with people. You could sign up for courses. You could join specific groups like Sylvie's mentioning, where it's kind of more of a niche section for people who get you or can sort of talk around the same issues or in the same sort of language, metaphorically and literally. You can sort of look for mentoring. So you could, as an individual, you could just come and join. You could use it to bring in somebody who you're trying to explain to, like a partner or a colleague or a family member could come in there instead of just having to get it from you. They could come in and get it from the whole community. Facilities could use it for helping to de-school their parents, just bring them on in. We can make you a lounge for just your school, for just those parents, and then they've got access to the rest of the main sort of public area of the community as well as their own little lounge. You see, that's what I'm really loving, is it's got this integration of having access to everybody and having completely private spaces and overlapping spaces. So it's really a lot like a beautiful big building in real life. You know, you can have your homeroom, you can go into the canteen, you know, you can move around depending on how private or how interactive you want to be. And it's also got the integration of text and voice and video. So we won't need Zoom anymore. We can just do calls straight there in Discord, which takes away the issue of like links and time and letting people in and having to start the call. And you can also just chat to each other casually. If you happen to be there at the same time, you can just open a conversation in the voice channel with whoever you want to and whoever you want to or don't want to. So there's just so much fluidity to being able to make this more of a real virtual community rather than just, you know, a place to asynchronously text chat. You know, that's there as well, but that's like just one tiny little part of it. So I don't know if that helps. I definitely do need to make it shorter and sweeter.
Thank you. No, it helps very much. And for me, the building analogy is very good. So I might be thinking about that and playing with that as well. And I can share any thoughts that I have with you.
So there's a question here. The video calls recorded in Discord. Not quite as easily as with Zoom. I will have to use my OBS screen recorder, but I will still record the calls and we will still store them. We'll store them there. So some of you have had a chance to go and look at our ShYft Community webpage where you've got the example of the calls that you've just done. That the moment they go onto that page there, then they're searchable and there's a transcript and it's divided into chapters for you to easily find the place you wanted when you're trying to review and recap. All of those links will be stored in the Discord. So you don't have to go to separate places. You just go into the Discord, go into your video library, click on the link and it'll take you to that web page where you do your login and then you'll get the access to your videos and not other people won't get access to your videos, right? So all of that's kind of integrated. So yeah, We're definitely going to be going more and more for videos. What I want to do also is I want to go for more pre-recorded videos supported by live discussions rather than integrating the two. Also because it's been quite difficult for different time zones. I had a few people sort of in the Australasia area try joining courses, and they were always totally dependent on the videos, for example, because the time just wasn't good. And then there's also personal timing. If I look at how many people don't manage to make live calls on any one course, there's always a lot of people depending on the recordings. So I want to nest more of the recordings in the video libraries, and then we can have more discussion, spend more time discussing, and maybe more slots for discussion, so that it really becomes possible to have that feeling of being a real community in spite of the time zones and the separations, that there's just much more integration. Right, other needs and requests and thoughts on what you would like to have happen. Let's try and make our dreams come true. We've already got some great suggestions here.
Well, because I come from the conference and it's kind of fresh. I was saying in the place, because they were talking about reimagining and imagination and creativity and all this stuff, but then it's like the opportunity for consequence. So I was thinking, why don't we reimagine the concept of conferences? Because I don't think they work. They're based on an old system that is not going to move forward with cooperation and collaboration. It's based on external authority giving you what the law of the land, and you agree and you listen and you take it in, and then there's like 2-3 minutes for like 3 questions in the room. And I found that that's a wasted potential. So what I found interesting to use here is like, I always going on like this, you know, even the Zoom calls and all that is based on one person telling you what they know, and then you react to it or whatever, you know what I mean? But I find that there's a wasted potential, because anytime that we get together, we all have different experiences, different ways of viewing things. And it's like, why don't we pick a problem or pick something that we actually have a problem with, and then put our brains together to solve that problem. And I mean, we were doing exercises that it was all play. We play with Legos from the children, but of course it was all rooted on their theories. And you know, like what I found that is, if I say those ideas, it's like nobody listens to me because I have no status or anything. But if a professor tells you this is their model of reality, everybody's there taking notes. Which I find hilarious, but like, that's not the future. The future is like, we're all equal and we're in a circle and we're all inputting here. And I think that's where the great ideas and the great problem solutions will come from. Yeah, so I think if you're really talking about community and all of that, ideally it would be like, okay, what problem do we want to sort, or what, you know, sort our own problems, and from sorting our own problems, we'll sort out the problems of the world. So more play, more gameplay, but like seriously, like really seriously to like, how can we just play with it and experiment and see how we can sort the problems that we have, like maybe start with something small. I don't know. That's my idea.
Yes, yes, yes. And I think that you've just given the elevator pitch.
Really?
Because I think that's what it is. So we were just recently on the Sudbury Staff Conference, some of us. And that worked by, the first session was everybody give ideas for sessions. And then the second session was everybody vote. And then from then on, we had meetings for those sessions where we just discussed as equal whatever the session topic was. And now and the frustrating thing is that there was an hour's limit or whatever it was on the session. And then at the end of the session, that was that. Right. And there was no recording. So it was beautiful. It was amazing. It was wonderful. And this is kind of taking that permanent, full-time, 24/7, 365, because now you can go into the Discord, you can set up whatever topic you like, you can meet with whoever you want, you can discuss it, you can record it as much as you want in text or a recording, you can post that up or leave that there, and then other people can come and add to it, and we can just build this collective wisdom. and have it all right there, because that's the other thing that I love about Discord, is it just stays there forever until you delete it. I've never used Discord to this level before, and I'm going on such a learning curve and I'm having such fun. But I started my very first courses on Discord back in 20 whatever it was. I've lost track of that now, because I said at the time, this is where the kids are. And so I want my facilitators to learn to use it. So we didn't use Zoom until the pandemic, because everybody started using Zoom in the pandemic, and then suddenly everybody had to use Zoom because it was their comfort zone. But I've gone back to, in fact, this server is one of the first servers that I used. I've just renovated it. But some people are going to get a nice surprise, because they're already members of the server and they've maybe haven't interacted for a few years, and they're suddenly going to, if they come back into Discord, find that they belong to something quite amazing now. But the content is always there. The stuff is always there until you delete it. So we can just keep building it, and there's no space limits, and it's searchable. Yeah, great. Other wishes, dreams, hopes, requests? So actually, I still want to say more on what you said there, Amor, because the other thing about this is that you can have private conversations. You can have them in text, you can have them in voice, you can have them in video, you can have them spontaneously, you can have them planned. You know, there's no reasons why we shouldn't be having things like socials and book clubs and games, you know, and somebody wants to share something and is going to do it on Saturday at 6 p.m. in this channel. And we can have multiple things happening at the same time. You know, it just depends on how big the community grows and how busy it wants to get, really. And how much FOMO people can deal with having things simultaneous and all the time. Yeah, Amor?
Another thing that I noticed in the conference that I remember it as you were talking about having conversations and things like that. Yeah, I thought two things. One about the conference, that we did one of the exercises we did in the last day or the last couple of days. They were more artistic, about drawing and stuff like that, and then talking about it to people, and they created way more connection with people. And we were just saying, you know, it's like I felt that it should have been done at the beginning of the event rather than at the end, because at the, you know, like at the beginning there's this awkwardness. You go into the place and a lot of people know each other, but I didn't know anybody, for example. So there's always like, you know, breaking the ice. And somebody else mentioned it. Where are you talking? Where are you going to talk about with all these people that you don't know? And funny enough, a lot of people felt like, a good few people felt like out of the water, you know, like I wasn't really out of the water, because I went, like, I didn't say I was a business thing or anything. I was an unschooling mom. I didn't want to confuse them. An unschooling mom, whatever. But then as I talked to people, some of them felt out of the water, and maybe because they were like professors of professors, but they were not on the area that there were most people about in the conference. And, you know, it's interesting the levels to which people feel out of the water, you know, like they're not part of the clique or something like that. So I think having conversations, and not just even having conversations, you know, like things through play. I think that's what children do. They connect with each other through play, and then you break. It's amazing how you can learn. People tell you, it goes really deep into telling you things about themselves. And then it's like this immediate rapport and connection that you get created, that you have told somebody. For example, we had a guy that he was the director of the Gaiety Theatre in Dublin. It's like the famous, one of the famous theatres in Dublin. And he did a very simple exercise, just looking into each other's eyes. He was talking about how to create character, how actors really have to embody emotions. And if you are afraid of rejection, you are kind of disembodied, like halfway of the body, like maybe the feet are not in character, or half of the body is not in character and the other half is in character. So he got us to do an exercise that it was just hold each other's hands and look into each other's eyes and say what I like about you. So it's like super simple, you know. but it created so much connection and so much insight about how the whole process of, you know, like I got a completely stranger and she was reading me. I don't know what she did for a living, but she read me completely, to the point that she even mentioned the train. And I said, I even came by train. And she mentioned, if I met you in the train, I would think like blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh my God, this is unbelievable, you know? So what I'm saying, I don't know to what point you can do that online or talking in Discord, but like anything that is kind of playing with games, things like that, I think it creates something that just copying children, basically. That's what we're doing at that time, copying children, and it will work out.
So yes, and I also want to comment, one of the interactions I had on email coming up to this call was also flagging that we want to use this online community to help people build local community. So this is going to be one of the things we're going to discuss in this space, is how to build local community. And one of the suggestions already is to co-create resources that we can actually use, co-create stuff that works, that we can drop in people's post boxes or post up at the library or whatever, so that we can use this to anchor what people need in their own neighborhoods. So even though it's going to be virtual and online and international, that is also going to be one of the aims, is to create resources that we can use to actually get things going locally. So also, I mean, we're going to have video resources, you know, that you can call together a library gathering to watch a video and discuss it, you know, for example. Or you could distribute an article and create a time. Anyway, there's many possibilities. I'm going to take a last one if anybody wants to say anything, because I see the time and I need to show you around the server still. So has anybody got a last one there, Max?
Can you do watch parties?
Yes, you can do watch parties. Yes, you can, because you stream a screen. And everybody clicks on the screen and they all watch it together. Our teens do watch parties on Discord all the time. We've got a very active film club at Riverstone Village that's into the art movies, and they use Discord for their watch clubs. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing with the local stuff is could be really interesting if it is possible to actually find each other where you are located. Maybe we can link it with a virtual map or something like that, or I don't know.
You can see over time. But again, as many different subgroups as there need to be, there can be. That's also what I like about it. So, you know, if you say, oh, well, we want a little lounge for Camden Town in London, you can have a little lounge for Camden. You know what I'm saying? It's like, whatever. We can play. All right, so let me show you around a little bit. Let me show you the big thing first, and then I'll take you to where it's manageable. Okay, so I've just got to share my screen. Right. Okay, so so this is it right now. It's got this little ShYft Community logo on the left there. Don't worry about this. Most of you don't belong to as many servers as all that. It will be easy to find. So that's what it's going to look like on the left, and then you'll click that, and then you will be here. Up at the top, we've got events. I haven't scheduled any at the moment, but you'll just be able to click on that, and then you will be able to see what all the upcoming events are, and we can have lots of events up there. And then here's welcome. This is going to be where we have the video like this one, and also some others on how to access stuff and sign up if you're coming in as a new member for a paid server, announcements of anything that we need to announce, and like a lounge where people can just chat, and a voice chat for the lounge where you can also do video. And I think in a minute or two, maybe Max, Sylvie, somebody who's already in the server, we just demonstrate in a minute or two perhaps. So for people who coming in who haven't joined the server, but they've just got a link, that's pretty much what they'll see. I'll show you how all that works in a minute. And then when you come in as part of the community, then you can introduce yourself, and we're going to have lists of resources, and then a kind of a slightly more private lounge, but for everybody who's in the community. Then there's a place where all the groups and courses are listed, and you can sort them to be viewed like that or that or that. And then there's forums. Now, we haven't really organized the forum yet because it's just a test forum. But you guys can start any forum posts you like. We could have a whole lot of different forums here. We could have an unschooling one, a deschooling one, a nature schools one, whatever we want in our open forums. These are kind of for everybody to share. And then there'll be like a horizontal communication section for the people who are busy doing just horizontal communication specifically. SDE for PDA parents. I'm going to show you around a little bit this because this is like a nice example of a forum. So here for the SDE for PDA parents, we could have, for example, a topic about sleep, and then it's got tags on it. So then if you want to go up and search in the search area for posts on sleep, and then it would bring you to here, or posts on mental health, then it would bring you to here. Again, we can view it like a list or like a gallery, and we can discuss. So these are like common topics for PDA, like punctuality issues. But, you know, these posts could be anything. This could be like how to deal with a parent-in-law who is against unschooling, or what to do about whatever it can be, anything. Then each subgroup that needs to be private can have its own private lounge and voice where they can also do video as well. So then there's all kinds of possibilities here at the moment. If that's PDA parents, PDA facilitators, you might be a member of both. But for example, the issues are slightly different. So we do want them to have private areas. Families looking at gender diversity issues, or who have gender diversity in their family. As Sylvie was saying, we can have a neuroaffirming space. Then, for example, this group, you guys already have your video library, right? And then that is going to take you straight there to your video library, where you carry on doing what you do. And it's back to here. And then this is where you could just chat with each other because you already know each other and you just want to chat. Then discussing the course videos. If you want to discuss one of those videos that you've got that you're going to be revisiting, because during the check-in, one of the topics that came up in the check-in is that deschooling actually takes longer than you think. There's this popular wisdom out there that takes a month per year of school. And it's like, well, the sort of our Sudbury school sort of approach is that we need a kid to be there at least 3 years before they can have a proper graduation, because before that we can't promise you that it's really kicked in. So that's a different time scale. So a lot of people want to revisit your videos, and then you want to also discuss them further. So you can use that forum space to say, you know, you could like start the topic of the video on physical space, for example, and you say physical space. It's this easy. New post, physical space, right? And then maybe I'm going to add some tags, and I'm going to put some content, and I can put a photograph if I want to. Just click, just click that and load it up from wherever it is, and post it, and then there's your topic, and it's that simple. You just add your tags and you've done it. So there's physical space now. You won't necessarily see all this stuff because that's kind of for the admin. But now the point is there's your physical space topic and you can now add to it. Troubleshooting forum, sharing our wins. And then here's another group. And this group can, again, it can just be a lounge if it just wants a lounge, or it can have forums in it. Here's another group, butterflies. Here's Sudbury staff. Here's under 21s if we have youth joining. Here's Riverstone's private school parent community, parent and staff community. Any of your schools could have one of those on here if you want one. Here's the Shimmers, which is like the moderator, mentor people. Here's Deutschsprachige, because we've already decided that Max already volunteered to do German. Now I'm going to add, I don't know what the word would be. Parler français. What would it be, Sylvie?
We could call it langue française.
There we go, langue française. We're going to stick that up, and it's really quick and easy. I can have that up by tomorrow. And that's, in fact, here there's a group already saying next language, ? So we can just turn that into langue française. So now this looks all very huge and complicated, doesn't it, to find your way around. So firstly, I'm going to be putting emojis to help you find your way around. But also, here's the lovely news. Have a look now at this. So let's take you to you, because right now, technically, you are caterpillars. Okay. So this is actually how big your forum is now. It is no longer so enormous because you are now viewing as you instead as if everybody. So now you can see the public area where the people who first arrive come in. You can see the place where everybody's interacting. The open forums, our ShYft community. And then you've got your own private group here at the bottom. And that's all you need to see. You don't have to get lost in everything else. And then let's say we've got a different group. Let's say that you're a PDA parent, right? And now you've got where everybody arrives. You've got the everybody areas, and then so there's the everybody areas, and then now you've got the SDE for PDA parents, right? And that's all that you have to find your way around. So it basically is also 100% private from everybody who doesn't go into your area. They don't even know it's there, except that they know it's there so they can ask to join it if they need to. Can we do a quick demo? Is it easy for one of the Shimmers to get in there quickly so I can quickly just show everybody how quick and easy it is to just connect with each other?
Yes.
Great. So Max, let's just meet in Lounge Voice now. Oh, I'm still viewing as a role. Let's take that out of there, sorry. Okay, so Max has just jumped in there with me. And now we're talking to each other.
Yes.
Right. And we can open a chat thing there. And I can share my screen. Except I can't because I'm on Discord. So this is confusing now. Oh, wait, I can. This is really going into okay, so now I'm sharing my screen there. And people would click on this. Max can click on that. And then he can see my screen. And then I can actually go full screen. And yeah, we can do watch parties and things like that. And it's that quick and simple. Whoops. And I stopped sharing instead of closing my Discord conversation. I want to close my Discord conversation now. And it's just simple. I just disconnect. And Max is now on his own in the lounge. So what this also means is if you happen to be online and you feel like chatting to just anybody, because why not? It could be anybody in your private area, or it could be, hey, let's just meet a new friend because our community is nice and big and busy. You can just go into a voice chat And everybody who comes into the server will see that there's this little icon there, and they'll say, oh, there's Jana sitting in the lounge, literally like a room. Then you can just click on the lounge and say, hi, Jana, how you doing? Hi, Max, how you doing?
Hello.
And it's just that easy, which I also just love, because then you are no longer dependent upon me to bring you guys together. And you can just make a date with your friends. You know, it's like Amor can say, hey, Sylvie, Max, Sean, or whatever. It's like, should we hang out in 10 minutes, or should we hang out tomorrow at 3? Yeah. And you can do this without having to exchange your personal phone numbers, which also makes it a lot easier to get to know people at the beginning of the relationship before you're sure if you want to connect or just casually. It's like a nice public space for you. So, and you can friend request people, and you can have private chats once you've friend requested that are completely outside the server very easily as well, even groups. Right. I hope I've given you something of a picture of it. Oh, and Max and I didn't turn our cameras on. You can also turn your cameras on and do what we are doing now in the Discord Lounge channel if you want to FaceTime. And otherwise, as I said, you know, you can just text and people will reply to your text, and people can have conversations, and we can create threads. I'll create an instruction video as well. That will be like a bit more of in fact, maybe I'll borrow the one that Bayo made for the server next door initially, and then I'll make one with further questions if further questions came up. So comments, questions, everything. Max.
How can people from outside actually get into the server, and then if they want to, into different groups?
So people from inside here, I'm going to send you guys an invitation tonight or tomorrow, depending if my power goes off. So everybody here or who can watch this recording can just come on in and start wandering around and finding ways to use it and playing with it. So then that's done, you're in. Then I'm going to be putting out invitations to people. I'm going to be asking them to come in at $7 for a monthly subscription. But again, as always, if you can't afford that, you will not be excluded at all. But I would love it if people are willing to do that or donate or whatever, because then we can actually use that to upgrade and build and make more powerful and extend and whatever. We can play with it. Once we get to a certain number of people in the server, we can also become, I don't know what the word is, like ratified or checked out, verified, right? That we have moderators who are keeping the space safe, and we have rules that keep people safe and that are being followed. Once we've kind of been audited to check that we are actually a nice, friendly, safe space, then we can get listing on certain places that public can actually search for us. And then that means that like unschoolers and people who are interested and so on can find us and join. That's where, as I said, they'll come in initially to here. Sorry, why am I here? There we go. So they'll initially come into this section here is all that they will see. So this will be how to access our ShYft community, and we'll ask them to go to Patreon to sign up. And then the second they sign up on Patreon, the Patreon's integrated. So they'll instantly end up having the access that they need to this. Or if they sign up on the Patreon to do one of the courses, then they'll instantly go into one of those course groups that will just instantly open up for them. But if they haven't done anything at all here, they'll be able to see the announcements, how to access, and they'll be able to access this lounge. Does that answer?
And if you are yeah, you made a donation or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
but then you don't have automatically access to all the different groups.
Yeah.
To get access to the different groups, you have to attend a specific course, or are there even like levels where you then can opt for, okay, but I want also to access this part, and this is
Yeah.
another
So,
subscription, or you donate to that part,
mm,
or do you have access to everything by default?
no, you don't have access to everything by default, also because some of the spaces need to be private. Privacy is part of what's valuable to the people who are there. So there's two ways to do it. There is the way where you can assign yourself to spaces, and this is also where we as a community will have to decide, like, which of those are there. For example, is it okay for a PDA parent to assign to themselves that they can be in the PDA parent space, or do the PDA parents feel that that will leave them vulnerable to a lack of privacy? Do they want some kind of check process before somebody can be manually assigned into the PDA space? So there's those two ways. So either, so I guess you're also asking because you're going to be sort of a moderator, and that might be part of your job, is to check out whether it's okay for somebody to be in that space. It's very quick and easy to assign them the role. You just click on their profile and you click on the role, and then they're in the space. So it takes about 30 seconds to do once you've decided they can be let in. So for the courses, Patreon will do that automatically. They'll sign up on the Patreon and that will automatically put them into the course. For the private groups, it's going to be, we can either create a little place where they can go and click on the icon and then they'll be teleported into the private group. Or for some of the groups, we can make it, as I said, that we have whatever process it is. You know, there might be a person who's going to moderate a particular group, like, for example, for the gender divergent families, there might be a volunteer there who is going to check that the person who wants to join that group really should be joining that group, and they're not just some troublemaker coming in to try and be annoying. Does that answer?
Yes.
So you can be a member of as many groups as you like that fit who you are, and as much as you want to be seeing on your sidebar. You probably want to start with just like 1-2 private groups because there's quite a lot going on already. And then see over time if you want to expand that. And then we'll see if all the groups are being used, or if we've got other groups that we want to be using that we create. And that's where I love the agility of it. Is that
People
we can
actually
create.
see the groups, what options there are.
So that's where they can only see the list that I've created, and we must keep adding to that list. So that's where, because they can't see them, they're invisible. I've got here the list, groups and courses. This is the list. So here's the courses and groups, like Sudbury staff, you can join, SDE for gender diversity, SDE settings and startups, under 21 hangout, BIPOC families. I still put here the Deutschsprachige, and, you know, then they can come here and see this list of groups. And then they can click on here and they can say, please, can I join? Right? Or what is this group for? What is PDA? Right? So this is public. And then we can interact with them from here.
Okay. Can be interesting if people ask that and we have to see it.
We will see it.
Okay, so we will get notified that.
Yeah, so there's a couple of different ways. Let's just go back here to, although now I created that post, so I don't know if we'll see it, but in Max's version, yeah. So firstly, you'll see on the menu, on the left, any new message is going to be in white. Maybe just leave a message somewhere in the server, anywhere in the server, Max. Okay, so, oh, when school's not cool. Max just left a message over there. Do you see that it turned white over here? These are all kind of gray. Oh, there's new messages over here. Right? So you immediately see if there's new messages in one of your areas, it'll turn white. And then in our instruction video, I'm also going to be showing people how to @mention. So you simply say @admins, or so we already do have an admin space. Sylvie, there are admin spaces for us to coordinate that. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I missed that. I need to go back and look at it more
No,
carefully.
it's fine, don't worry. I also need to carry on putting the emojis, because the emojis just make it that much easier to navigate and find your way. And for the admins, there is quite a lot to navigate. Okay. So essentially, whatever you want to have happen, you can have happen. If you want to start a book club for reading free to learn, or you want to start a discussion group on how to get something going in my neighborhood, or whatever it is, you can do it, and we will help you to do it. Other questions, suggestions, etc.
You can also do voice recordings, or can't you?
Yes,
Yeah,
you can. You can also do voice notes, yes.
What a blessing.
Yes. Yeah, and there is also a thing called threads, so that, you know, when you're in a text channel, you can create a thread. Max, you already know about this, and then it makes this little side chat where you can discuss, you can respond to particular things that somebody's saying, and then the rest of the chat carries on going down like this. So there's a lot of ways to keep things organized, which is very nice. Other questions and thoughts? Oh, so for those who don't like the dark of Discord, and you want it to look a bit more like other forums you're part of, it has a light mode as well. I've never tried switching it on, but I know that it's possible. I'd have to just look up how to do it. I can put that into the directions as well. But yeah, you can change the appearance so that it isn't all black screen and dark gray and stuff like that. It can be all nice and white and bright. I wonder if I can find a picture of that to just give you a picture of that. Yeah, there we go. So let's just show you what that would look like. Oh, come on. Sorry, this is the problem with searching things live on the internet, is you never know if you're going to really get what you want here. Sorry. Let me just show you my search bar, and then that will be enough. I'm struggling to make any of these bigger, but as you can see here, you can have Discord looking like that if that feels more friendly to you. Then there's your menu there and your posts over there and things like that. It doesn't have to be dark. It can be nice and bright. Personalized. Did you see that? Great. Yeah, I like the dark mode. I suppose also because that's how the kids introduced me to it. It seems to be what most of them use. Anything else, or are you just going to need to digest for a little bit? So, yes, Amor?
You were mentioning earlier that it's going to be about how to build local communities. So I was wondering if that's going to be a specific group, or how you're thinking to do that.
So again, we can see how that goes. I think somebody suggested that and requested that. So I think that we're going to put that initially in one of the open forum sections rather than a separate group. It'll just be a forum topic. And then if we find that that forum topic isn't enough, then we'll create more space until we've got enough space. So remember that it doesn't always have to be a splinter group. So you could have a forum topic that's just a forum topic and people are having a discussion there. And then the people who are having a discussion there say, oh, let's have a meeting about this on Tuesday. And then they just arrange that and put it up and have it and carry on chatting on the forum. You know, you don't have to make a separate group unless a group is necessary. So at the moment, the group ideas at the moment are for languages and things that maybe need more privacy because other people don't necessarily get it. And you kind of want that safe space. So those are the separate groups. And then, of course, the separate course groups are at the moment the things that are separated out. Shauna?
I don't know how long this call was scheduled for. So if we're running
It's supposed to end,
out of time,
yeah.
I can.
Yeah, but go for it.
It's supposed to end now.
As soonish. But please go for it.
And everybody's. Thank you. My internet connection is wobbly, so I hope you can hear me. And just the Sudbury discussion list. Okay.
Now we can hear you again.
I'm going to turn off my video because I think it can't handle both right now. Can you hear me? Okay, thank you. So I was thinking about a use case in which, you know, Greg or I might want to say, you know, how are people at other self-directed education facilities handling something like this? And the interesting thing though is that I really like this group in that it integrates both unschooling and self-directed education facilities and gets ideas from both, and it's not just one or the other. Do you have any ideas on something like that, like how to do sort of what we do in the Sudbury group, but a little bit better and more inclusive?
Great. So, I mean, I think that's already sort of right there in that you would simply choose where you want to ask that question or where you want to open that topic. So if you want to do it in the Sudbury staff area, then that's only Sudbury staff. So you might decide, hey, this is a topic that's really only for people who identify as Sudbury. Then you're going to post it there and have that discussion there. Otherwise, if you think it's more open, you choose one of the spaces that's more open and you say, hey, I'm interested in how your SDE setting handles this. And then you will be able to go and click on people's profiles and you'll be able to see from their profile what roles they've got, what groups they belong to. So if you want to contextualize their answer by whether or not they are Sudbury staff, you can click on their role and see if they've got Sud staff. And if they have got Sud staff, you know, okay, so that answer is coming from somebody who's in Sudbury, or this answer is coming from somebody who doesn't have the Sud staff role. So then you can contextualize it like that. Would that do it for you?
Yes, that sounds wonderful. Thanks. Because we do still identify as a Sudbury school, but we are not fundamentalists of Sudbury. I think there are
Yeah.
many good ideas that we could learn from. So.
Yeah. So again, that's why there are these private spaces for people who, or groups or sort of identities that are going to need some level of privacy, and then, but there's still total accessibility to shared space as well. Very agile.
Thank you.
With a small a. Okay, anything else before we wrap up? Okay, then what I'm going to do now is I am going to create an invite link to the server, and I'm going to send it to everybody on the list along with this video. And I invite you to click on that link. If you don't have a Discord profile yet, it'll just take you a minute to choose a username and a password like for any other site. Then it'll take you straight into the basic area. And then please, play. Experiment. It's very, very easy to delete. You just look at the little edit section on your post and delete it or edit it or whatever you want to do. I'll also post across the other use video that was made for the server next door, and just for some basics on how to post and how to search and things like that. And then please also put your questions into the server so that we can come back to them. And I welcome you into our ShYft community. You are part of it now and you belong, and you're welcome to donate, and you don't have to donate, you are in. And I really look forward to hanging out with you all. Just a quick note to say that the next courses are going to start on, I think, around the 15th of August. I've just got to look at the calendar and finalize it. So you've got time to think about courses and course communities, but we've got a bit of time before a whole lot of other people might come into the server. So, play with it while it's quiet. Our kids, we've changed venues twice, I think, is it? And my family's moved house a lot of times, and the kids always love it when the building's empty. You can run around and see everything and do everything. So, come and play while the rooms still echo. And then soon we'll play with the rooms nice and full, and both will be good. Okay, everybody. Bye-bye. Take care. Lots of love, and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.